malchutecha, shomrei, shomrei, shomrei Shabbat, v'korei oneg Shabbat. Yismechu malchutecha, shomrei, shomrei, shomrei Shabbat, v'korei oneg Shabbat. Zecher
Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom to everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
The reason that I am going to remove my mask very safely and keep everyone in our sanctuary safe is that we made a really hard decision this past week that for the safety of our community, we would stream these services in a mostly not full sanctuary but with our wonderful speaker tonight and one friend, and Cantor Addy and Eric Schoen and myself. We think we have 18 feet between the two of us, so we're in compliance with everything. And we need this Shabbat. We really need this Shabbat and Yismachu to make joy together and to come together. So we are so grateful that all of you are streaming in locally and from all around the country, and you are making the minyan, and we are making Shabbat together. And of course, we always start with a community candle lighting, and since among our only congregants tonight is Manny Yakutiel, I'm going to invite you to come up. Normally, it would be Eva Ritchie and her family and Ziv Militsky and her family in honor of their Benot Mitzvah tomorrow. We're grateful for you for being here, Manny, and we're all excited to hear you speak later in this service. You can go ahead and light the lights of Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
It seems apropos that you, Manny, who bring so much light to our community, would be the ones to bring the Shabbat lights in tonight. And I'm thinking about the fact that you're here and that we're a year out from the events of January 6th, just 1 year ago. And in honor of your work that you do, a prayer, Rabbi Sarah Parrish shared this prayer for our country with me, and it was written by Rabbi Dr. Andrea Weiss. Every inch of America is sacred, from sea to shining sea. There is much to be done in our time, the sort of hard work on which God smiles, because it is done for the sake of the dignity and well-being of all God's creatures. Together, let us work to preserve and make manifest the values upon which our democracy was founded. Rather than a politics of divisiveness, may we move our country toward a politics of empathy. May we use our power well so we do great things for all God's creatures, all those made in God's image who yearn for an equal place at America's table. If we do all this, may grace and peace be ours in abundance. May we be a beacon and a blessing to the world. Amen.
Amen.
We greet Shabbat as we would greet a queen, and so we turn to Lecha Dodi and we sing.
בואי בשלום, עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצוך עולה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה, הולך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה, הולך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה, יה לה 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 לה, 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 יה לה 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 לה, יה לה 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 לה, יה לה 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 לה, יה לה 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 לה, יה לה 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 לה, יה לה 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 לה, יה לה 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 לה, יה לה 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 לה, יה לה 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 לה
Cantor Addie,
Rabbi Singer.
do you remember in Erev Rosh Hashanah 2020, it was for me the first time ever leading services in front of a largely empty sanctuary?
I do, and it's funny you mention that, because in my mind right now, I was picturing all of you at home. I can see you. I have certain of you that all of you, I can see you here in the sanctuary, and I know you're there in the camera from your home watching, so we're together.
Exactly, and that's how I'm able to bring my neshama to this service, is I know where all of you sit in the sanctuary, and I can see the Booters and Rita and Paul and Marcia and everyone who is sitting, the Dosseters over there, everyone who has their place in this community. And I can also picture you at home in your really comfortable couches, or maybe you're fixing Shabbat dinner in the kitchen and you have this on. But we're just really glad that we have found this way through technology, that a pandemic is not going to stop us from coming together to bring in Shabbat and taking this moment to really remind ourselves of our purpose in the universe. And so I always love sharing this thought by our own scholar in residence, Rabbi Larry Kushner. And so we understand that ordinary people are messengers of the Most High. They go about their tasks in holy anonymity, often even unknown to themselves. Yet, if they had not been there, if they had not said what they said or did what they did, it would not be the way it is now. We would not be the way we are now. Never forget that you too may be a messenger, perhaps even one whose errand extends over several lifetimes. We're going to sing Baruch Hu, our call to worship. If you're very comfy in your couch, you don't have to rise, but if it feels good for you to stand up, please join us in Baruch Hu. Just want to remind people who are just tuning in more recently that we don't have our congregation in the sanctuary tonight. It's just us, and we've tested and are very spatially distanced from one another, though connected as well. And it's dark. It's dark out there, and we know that every day it's going to be a little less dark going forward. The darkness of the first day differed from the darkness that preceded creation. The root of ma'ariv can also mean mix, suggesting God mixed light into the primordial darkness. The tiniest spark of light can transform darkness.
ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו, אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, המעריב ישראל, עמך אהבת, תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו לימדת. כן אדוני אלוהינו בשוכבנו ובקומנו נשיח בחוקיך ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו ובהם נהגי יומם ולילה. For these are our lives and the length of our days, and in them we will wander day and night. ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אדוני אחד. ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד.
Just before we chant Ve'ahavta, I have to say, I was talking to one of my bat mitzvah students yesterday, and not everyone, the Hebrew doesn't come so easily to everyone. And I said, well, if you learn one prayer, just learn Shema Yisrael, 6 words about oneness, and you can sing it when you're going to sleep at night. You can sing it on a bumpy, bouncy airplane. And I know that we're in a few more prayers, we're going to sing a prayer for healing. And I know that so many people in our community know dear friends and family members who currently have COVID or have recently recovered, or you yourself have COVID. And the Shema, it just reminds us that we're all in this together. We are one. We're all part of the same fabric. And so we hold that in mind because sometimes illness can feel very isolating. So hold on to that Shema. You can take it to bed with you. Ve'ahavta. Let's chant.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Amen. Love your God with every heartbeat, with every breath, with every conscious act. Keep in mind the words I command you today. Teach them to your children, talk about them at work. Whether you are tired or rested, let them guide the work of your hands. Keep them in the forefront of your vision. Do not leave them at the doorpost of your house or outside your gate. They're reminders to do all the mitzvot so that you can be holy for God. I am Adonai, your God. I led you out of Egypt to become your God. I am Adonai, your God. Micha Mocha, we praise you.
Micha Mocha Bailim Adonai, Micha Mocha Neder Bakodesh, Nora Tehilot Osei Fele, Nora Tehilot Osei Fele, Malchutecha Ra'u Vanecha Bokei Hayam, Lifnei Moshe Anu ve'ameru Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Micha mocha ba'elim Adonai, Micha mocha neder ba'kodesh, Nora tehilot osei fele, Nora tehilot osei fele, osei fele. ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב גאלו, מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל ישראל.
And as we prepare to say those prayers for healing, if you have a chat, please put the names of people you're thinking of in the chat. If you're sitting with someone, you can talk to them about the person you're saying healing prayers for. And if you're on your own, you can just hold them in your heart. And we really do think of all of the people in our community that are recovering from COVID at this moment. And we wrap everyone with everything that you're suffering from into this prayer.
Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storm. Oh, let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms.
And in addition to everyone you are thinking of and typing in the chat, we add these names into our healing prayers. Frank Friedman, Rusty Holden, Laura Knickerbocker, Janet Haas, Ricardo Castro, Bill Black, Kathleen Russell Harden, Jennifer Mosier, Beverly Rochelle, Zachary Roy, George Roy, Art Pilch, Carol Boygan, Murray Schneider, Mark Mirabelli, and John Whalen, and Louise Sampson.
Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's
Keep holding the note for a moment while I say the prayer, actually. May the one who blessed our ancestors bless all and heal all who are ill. May the Holy One be filled with compassion for their health to be restored and their strength to be revived. May God swiftly send you a complete renewal of body and spirit. And let us say, Amen.
Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter V'hamidenu shomrenu l'chaim. Spread the shelter of your peace over us. Guide us in wisdom, compassion, and trust. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom. V'hamidenu shomrenu Save us for the sake of your name. Shield us from hatred, sorrow, and pain. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom. V'hamidenu shomrenu l'chaim.
We turn now to the Amidah, and if you are accustomed or planning on rising, please do, and we join together.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avoteinu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot V'imachot, U'mevii Geula Livnei V'nechem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Oser U'moshir U'maken, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham V'ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayei Hakol Atah Rav Lehoshia, Mashiv HaRuach U'morid HaGashem, Mechalkel Chayim B'chesed, Mechayei Hakol Berachamim Rabim, Zomech Noflim V'rofei Cholim, U'matir Asurim, U'mekayem Emunato Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Bal Gevurot, U'mito Melach, Melech Memit U'mechayei, U'matzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah l'chayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayei hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, U'kedoshim b'chol yom yehlelucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
What is your prayer? What is your hope? Take this moment and express that prayer, that hope, any way you can, that gratitude. And when you've completed your prayer, if you're standing, please be seated.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata hu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki ata hu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov b'necha levarech et amcha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam.
If you live here in the Bay Area, our guest darshan, our guest speaker, Emanu-El, needs no introduction. He is a rock star around these parts. But we know that our congregation streams in from all around the country and even from all around the world. So let me just say this by way of introduction. Emanu-El is the owner of Manny's, a physical place to go here in the mission to become a better informed and more involved citizen. He also serves on the board of the San Francisco Municipal Transportation Agency, the Valencia Quarter Merchants Association, and the Jewish Community Center of San Francisco. That's the official bio. But if you're not from around here, you should just know that to those of us around the Bay, Manny is as courageous a person as we know, who has stared down anti-Semitism without a blink, and who has held up democracy every day and every way. Manny's is one of the most delightful and important gathering spots in our city that, among so many other things, puts heart and soul into making sure that every person in our country who is eligible to vote in the last national election could vote. And I know my own kids were out there in those parklets working on that every day with everyone else at Manny's. Manny has such an important purpose on this earth, which is why it is a great honor to hear the story he is about to tell us all on this Shabbat. Welcome, Manny.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Gosh, what a strange and unprecedented way to bring in the new year, don't you think? Actually, if you think about it, it isn't so unprecedented. I mean, we've been through hard times before. Harder. Times where we've had to be alone, times where we've had to be together in order to make it through. This is the story of our people. And each time we made it through these moments, we were reminded of the preciousness of life, the importance of time and not wasting it. And so, with that in mind, I say to all of you, welcome to the new year. I'm glad to be able to spend it with you. The day before Thanksgiving this year, I found out that I have cancer. Those words still feel foreign coming out of my mouth. I have cancer. Not only that, my cancer is found almost exclusively in people with AIDS, which makes it quite serious. Before I say anything more, I want to let you know and assure you that I'm going to be just fine. Like, actually just fine. My prognosis is great, and I plan on living a big and beautiful life. But before all that, I want to tell you what happened, okay? So it was 3 o'clock in the afternoon on the day before Thanksgiving when I got the call that I was not expecting from my doctor telling me that I had a rare soft tissue cancer, that I likely had AIDS, and I had to see a specialist immediately. I went from being a 32-year-old who was wondering how he was going to pack for New York the next day, and who was it that I had hit on at the Eagle the night before, to someone for whom time had stopped, the world around me in suspended animation. Questions had to be answered. How serious was this cancer? Did I, in fact, have AIDS? Was it spreading, or had it already spread to other parts of my body? And how much time did I have left? What followed was a slew of tests, pokes, prods, questions I didn't have the answers to, hospital gowns worn as stylishly as I could, and a lot of waiting. Around the next day, I woke up around dawn, and my friend Becca drove me to the ER. I walked in alone, readying myself for what I might learn. A few hours later, I was in the waiting room, and I heard the nurse walk in and speak to the doctor. She said, "We found a strange dark mass in his chest." She looked at me. She said, "It's probably nothing." I said, "Uh-huh." She said, "But we have to do a CT scan immediately." Just like that, what was bad became a whole lot worse, and my heart sank. They put an IV in my arm, put me in a wheelchair, and wheeled me to a hospital bed. What was happening? Once I was in the CT scan room, I asked the doctor if it would be okay to put my headphones in so I could listen to a song while the whole thing went down. He said, "Sure." I put on this song called Ekra by Shalshelas. It was a song that I would listen to when I was a younger man, when I needed some hope or comfort. Ekra means to call out. Ekra l'Elokim Elyon, Ekra l'Elokim Elyon, Lo el gomer elai, Ekra l'Elokim Elyon. The doctor wheeled me in underneath the CT scan machine, and it started to spin above me. I closed my eyes, and immediately I had what can only be described as a transcendent spiritual experience. I started to see flashes of memories that hadn't happened yet, scenes from a future, parks, sunshine, a partner, the symphony, and I remember feeling deep down inside me how much I wanted to be there for those moments, how much time I wanted ahead of me. And then, just like that, the words, "Let me live," flashed in front of me. And it was if I had placed a call directly to God. I could feel actually feel that my words had been heard, that my message had been delivered. And then, just as soon as I felt that, I opened my eyes and the machine had stopped. The doctor told me we were all done and I could go back to my room. They wheeled me back to the hospital room, and after about an hour and a couple frantic text messages to Rabbi Mintz to pray for me, the doctor walked in. She looked at me and my heart stopped. She said, "Manny, we've put you through quite enough. We should let you go now." I said, "What do you mean?" She said, "The scan came back clear. That thing we found on the x-ray, that was just vasculature. It was basically a mistake. Your T-cell count is great. You don't have AIDS. And this cancer, this particular cancer, when it's found in people that don't have AIDS, basically doesn't mean anything at all. It has no serious medical ramifications. You're going to be just fine." And just like that, I had my life back. They took out the IV and discharged me. I entered into that ER under the cover of darkness, not knowing what would hold for me when I got out 7 hours later. And when I did get out, I had a new lease on that same life. I was going to be just fine. I was going to be just fine, and yet I could already feel that I had changed, that I was somehow different. The sun on my skin, it felt different. The taste of the food in my mouth at lunch that day, it tasted different, sweeter, tastier. The neurons in my brain, they were firing in a different way. I decided that I had to travel the world as soon as I could, which is why this summer I'm taking 3 months off to do just that. You see, death had been presented to me, brought right in front of my face, and then just as soon as it became my story, it was taken away, thrust back into the shadows, and life became my story again. In 24 hours, I had gone from "how many years left" to "how do you want to live?" Which brings me to today. Why am I standing here telling you this story? Why should this experience of mine matter to you? Because I believe within this experience there is an important message, something we hear often, but just as often disregard. We cannot waste our time. We cannot waste our time. That our time is not a given. We can't waste our time in work, in what we do. If you're unhappy with your job, change it. Take risks, jump ship, express yourself, be bold and courageous in the professional decisions that you make. If you find yourself at a crossroads, perhaps remember my story. We cannot waste time in our relationships, in our family, our parents, our partners, our chosen family. These are the connections that we must grow and treasure and prioritize and hold close. If they become toxic, hey, it's a new year. Time to purify. The next time you find yourself wondering how to invest in your personal relationships, remember my story. And we can't waste time wanting to dance, but not doing it, feeling afraid, wasting your time. Don't be a wallflower, be a spark, be that person that starts the dance floor before anyone else has the chance. I'm looking at you. I'm looking into each of your eyes, and I see so much potential for good. Don't waste it. You see, I want to live a big and beautiful life. I want to be in public service in a way that is uniquely me. I want love. I want cinema and dancing and heartbreak again and again. and again. I want to learn how to sing so I could stand on my balcony and sing West Side Story and pretend I'm Maria. I want to learn how to fight and then never have to use it. I want to make mistakes just so that I can learn from them. I want it all. But it's clear to me now that just because you want something doesn't make it for sure. Because that call that I got, it can come at any time. That goes for me, and that goes for you. Listen, I know that this can sound like a line sometimes, and you just want to roll your eyes. Life is short. Carpe diem. Seize the day. I get it. But how about this? Imagine if we all just lived with 18% more urgency, more vigor. 18% less capacity for time sucks, for negativity, for gossip, for social media. Less space for the crowded inbox, and more time for the wide open spaces. What if we all just lived a little bit more like how I felt under that CT scan machine, wanting so much to be here, begging with every fiber of my being for a chance to stay just a little bit longer? So, as you leave tonight, I want you to ask yourself, if this had happened to you, how might you live? Where would you go? Who would you take with you? How might you do things differently? Would you finally ask out that cute boy at the gym you've always wanted to? Would you host that fabulous Shabbat that you have in your mind's eye? Would you write down that story? Would you choreograph that dance? Take your kids on that trip you've always wanted to take them? Would you pursue that goal that seems just out of reach? I am standing here on this sacred bima with my story as a vessel to urge you to go for it. Don't delay. Don't waste any time. Because you never know. Because you never know. Because you never know when you might get that call. When time will run out and there may be no chances left. Shabbat Shalom.
Manny, you've already given us so many gifts, and now you charge us. What if we lived with 18% more urgency? What if? We are so grateful to you for, I think different people have to go through something like you went through. I think afterwards you just want to never think about it again. And instead, I remember how quickly you reached out and asked for the opportunity to share this with us, and we're so grateful to you. And I know this will be posted on Facebook and on our website, just the sermon, probably next week, and you can share it. I know you know people who need to hear that message. We all do. So thank you. Thank you. And it's kind of amazing that we move from that message about thinking of our lives and what they can mean and what we can do while we have them to this moment when we think about the people that we love so deeply and we've lost recently and at this time in years past. And this past week we had some heartbreaking losses in our community, and we're reminded every day that you don't know how many days you have in your life. And when we think about people who died before their time, when we get over the shock and the grief and the loss, we don't get over it, but when we move through that, we start to celebrate every day that they had on this earth and what they what they did in the world and what their life meant, whatever its length was. And we're thinking of those people now. We're thinking of those that died this past week and will be laid to rest. Sarah Lopez Lowe and Kevin Novak. And we're, of course, also remembering the great Sidney Poitier and his gifts to all of us. We are in a period of shloshim for Richard E. Immersheim, Jane Graham, Peter Mayer, Sylvia Story, Carolina Alicia Martinez, and Miguel Nicoletti Brown. We honor every day of the lives that they lived. And we say Kaddish for these in our community who died at this time in years past. Selma Altschuler, Aaron Berman, Dave Bierman, Marjorie W. Bissinger, Max Bohr, Alan Booter, Ronald Cape, Irving Nathan Croman, Ruth E. Cohn, Marjorie M. Colvin, Francis Cooper, Maurice Kosman, Morton Denker, Isidore Diamond, Sidney Dillick, Selma Dorman, Maddie Duckler, Lillian Fenig, Helene J. Freed, Hugo Friend, Hannah Fromm, Joseph Futternick, Harold Groner, Molly Halfin, Rosalind James Immersheim, Alan Kaufman, Gertrude Kern, Ilya Kefetz, Charlotte Kleinhout, Yona Konstantinovsky, Skip Kavinsky, Harold Laxer, Thekla Lehrberger, Tilya Livschitz, Cyril Logan, Robert A. Lowe, George Lusk, Ruth Rosenbluth Lusk, Beatrice I. Lyons, Flora Marcus, Alice Mayer, Jamie Miranda, Herman Multer, Walter Munzer, Alan Mushkin, Clara Rosenshield Newman, Eleanor Phillips, Seymour Phillips, Miriam Price, William Price, Jean M. Reichert, Richard Rawson, Solomon Samberg, Jeffrey Sampson, Bernard Shire, William Edward Schulte, Pearl Slayan, Harold Stein, Louis Suris, Isaac Tebekin, Jeanette Thames, Sidney Tuckman, Zoya Vestel, David W. Walsh, Zvi Harry Zaretsky, Ida Zisman, and Rabbi Irving F. Reichert, who served this congregation from 1930 to 1947. And I hope you're typing names in the chat or saying to the people around you those you are thinking of. And if you're saying Kaddish or just being there for people who are saying Kaddish, please rise and we say these words together. Yit gadal v'yit kadash shemei rabbah, be'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'vizman kariv imru amen. Yehei shemei rabbah mavarach la'olam olmei almaya. Yit barach v'yishtabach v'yit pa'ar v'yit romam v'yit naseh v'yit hadar v'yit aleh v'yit halal shemei d'kudashah b'richu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tush b'chata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Who says shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen.
Adon olam, Asher malach, b'terem kol yitzir nivra, le'et nasa v'chefetzo kol, azai melech shemo nikra, ve'acharei kichlot hakol, levado yimloch nora, ve'hu haya ve'hu chofei, ve'hu yeh b'tifara. Adon olam, asher malach, b'terem kol yitzir nivra, le'et nasa v'chefetzo kol, azai melech shemo nikra, ve'acharei kichlot hakol, levado yimloch nora, ve'hu haya ve'hu chofei, hu yeh b'tifara. Ve'hu echad ve'ein sheni, lehamshil lo, lehachbira, veli reshit veli tachlit, velo ha'os ve'hamisra. Ve'hu eli ve'chai goali, v'tzur chevli be'etzara, ve'hu nisi umanos li, menat kosi beyom ekra. Adon olam, asher malach, b'terem kol yitzir nivra, le'et nasa v'chefetzo kol, azai melech shemo nikra, ve'acharei kichlot hakol, levado yimloch nora, ve'hu haya ve'hu chofei, hu yeh b'tifara. Beyado av kidruchi, be'eti sham ve'aira, ve'imruchi gevuati, Adonai li v'lo ira. Adon olam, asher malach, b'terem kol yitzir nivra, le'et nasa v'chefetzo kol, azai melech shemo nikra, ve'acharei kichlot hakol, levado yimloch nora, ve'hu haya ve'hu chofei, hu yeh b'tifara, ve'hu yeh b'tifara, ve'hu yeh b'tifara.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat
And as
shalom.
Cantor Addy comes over to get the kiddush, that song makes me think about when we did this service Erev Rosh Hashanah 2020, very first time ever in an empty sanctuary, and we had never used the technology, so we didn't know if anyone had heard the service, but you did, and we know you're there tonight, and we feel your presence, and we miss you. We want you to stay safe and healthy, and we can't wait to all be back in the sanctuary for those who like to, putting their arms around each other and swaying. And Judaism just keeps us moving forward, and as does Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hakafim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon, hinchil אותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת לחיים.
L'chaim. And as we said at the beginning of this service, a special mazel tov to Eva Ritchie and to Ziv Miletsky and their families as they will celebrate their Benot Mitzvah here tomorrow, because our life cycles, we found safe ways to continue to have all of them, and we're so glad for that. For all of you who watched our service tonight from all over the world, when it's safe to travel again, I want you all to go over to Manny's and walk up to him and say, I heard you speak on that Friday night. So please do that. There'll be Torah study in the morning virtually. There will be a pulpit exchange in our tradition with Third Baptist Church next Shabbat. Again, the sanctuary will be empty for people's safety, but our friends at Third Baptist will be joining us. Reverend Amos Brown will give the message, and it will be uplifting and inspiring. So we invite you all to tune in. And also on Sunday morning, you will be able to tune in to the service at Third Baptist Church in Canterluck, and I will be there that day. Did I miss any announcements? We're good. All right. Well, I know you're all just about to have a form of Shabbat dinner, and so let's sing a little Hamotzi.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'tei avon.
B'tei avon, Shabbat
Shalom. Thank you, Manny.
Shabbat
Shalom. Thank you, Eric Schoen. Thank you, Piva in the back. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.